Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Welcome back to some Crusader Kings III. Some Are You Dublin or Dublout? Hey, Mauricio, good to see you. Right at the top. Hello, more trying to not die time. Yeah. Pretty much, pretty much. That's where we're at. As always, let's make sure everything's working. Hello, me. As always, let's make sure everything's working. Hello, me. Right, back at you, buddy. All right. So, we finished the Wallachia-Romania run earlier today in Victoria 3. So now we are back with some Crusader Kings 3. So we're picking up where we left off last week. So right at the end of last week's episode, we formed the Kingdom of Ireland. Oh yeah, there we go. And our guy is now High King Shananel the Handsome of Ireland. Fitting title. He's overly fragrant. This character's over-application of multiple sachets of herbs may not actually protect them against disease, but it certainly makes them feel better, albeit at the cost of watering eyes of those close by. Oh my god, we got a guy who's putting on a little too much Old Spice. Look at our royal court. All right, so one thing we didn't do, because we got this like literally at the end of last episode, we haven't held court yet. Do we even have any artifacts? Oh, there we go. The Hamcut's house banner. Oh, that's okay, that's the... Oh, I see, the dynasty banner. Ah, okay. So we got the dynasty banner, and then over here we'll put the house banner. Do we have anything else? I don't think so. That's it. We gotta get more stuff. And then the court grandeur. We've got last century fashion. Let's see. Yeah, let's do some decent fashion. Bland food. What are we, the English? No offense, everybody. Decent food. We can do few servings. Servants, I mean. Minute lodging. We'll do small lodgings. So this will cost us 1.2. We'll stay there. We'll have we'll spend 1 on this, right? Court type. So diplomatic court. Diplomacy is key to garnering the respect of our peers and keeping the realm at peace. A pleased vassal is a loyal vassal. Courtiers gain the diplomatic courtier traits. We go to scholarly. Inspired characters will arrive at court more frequently. More monthly lifetime. As court is all about attracting cultivated minds and people of exceptional skill. Now, let's do the diplomatic court. Court language. Court language, your native language. Okay. So, it didn't save any of that stuff. So, decent fashion, decent food, small lodgings. Hey, Jacob, hello. Do you plan to make the Eastern Island Irish clay? I plan to make all the islands Irish clay. But sure, why not? Let's do it. Oh, we got a ranking over here. How is Kaiser Emmerich holding the top 2 positions? Now, one interesting thing is... Oh, hello. This is my first time playing with coronations. I heard it broke everything. Oh, wait, we didn't hold court, though. Hold on. Yeah, nice. That's right. So let's hold court here. It's been so long with this game. I don't remember where it is. Oh, Royal Court. There it is. There. Okay, hold court. Let's see. Let's hear the petitioners. Sitting on my throne, I gesture for my guards. Hey, where's the queen? And who's this guy again? Frederick de Cleroux. Sitting on my throne, I gesture for my guards to open the doors of the hall. A stream of people file in, some lining up in front of my throne, while others move out of the way so they can simply observe the proceedings. After several moments, all movement in the chamber has ceased. All faces turn towards mine expectantly. In front of me, I count 3 petitioners lined up in an orderly row, waiting for me to call on them. Time Traveler moves a chair. The timeline. Entire British Isles is part of the medieval Irish Empire. Yeah. Hopefully. Hopefully somebody moved the right chair. Alright, gesture for the first in line to approach. A foreign guest approaches my throne and loudly proclaims, "It has been a while since I arrived at your court." I mean, we just had the first court. What are you talking about? I've carefully observed how you rule and address realm matters, both small and grandiose, and I have been nothing but deeply impressed. Among the Sephardim, there is an old tale of a legendary ruler from a distinguished dynasty. It is a story that my mother told me when she was young. She heard it first from her mother oh so long ago. And now I have the great pleasure of telling you that I think you are the legendary High King of Sephardo legends. Okay. And I believe any true son of Sephardi surely would agree with me. Yes. Your elder spoke about the ham cuts. The ham cuts. So you get a mighty endeavor. Alright. Ireland is the subject of Sephardo tales. You gain a great deed. Hiberno ruler does not care for what the... yeah, let's not do that. Sure, let's gain a mighty endeavor. Alright. A middle-aged man steps before me with quiet dignity before bowing deeply. Greetings, your majesty. I am Rogalak, your loyal servant. I come before you today to seek employment in your court. I am a man of letters, having scribed for the local lords and clergy of Briefny, my homeland. It would be my honor to put my talents to a greater cause in the service of my High King and all Ireland. Let's see. Ooh, look at this guy's learning. Not bad. Not bad. So, we'll pay him 25. We don't have any money. As the court jester? No. Oh, as the tutor. Who is our current tutor? Isn't my lover the current tutor? Oh, Frederick is... Okay, so we could do this. We could get this guy. Master of the Hunt. Yeah, you can be the court tutor. The unrepentant Earl Ruadiri graces you with his presence. Haltingly he begins, "My High King, I am a loyal and willing subject. Let me practice my faith in peace. We insularists worship God just as the Catholics do. Leave your Christian brothers to worship as they please. United instead against the wicked infidels who follow false demons and allow Satan to corrupt their hearts." Alright, so this guy's my vassal. Religiously protected. The leech cannot demand conversion. And I can't use convert faith in the county. What's his county? Mayo. Yeah, I don't want to do that. Come, let me show you the words of St. Catherine. Maybe I can convert you. 65% chance he'll convert. You need to reread the scriptures, and their close family will convert to your religion. Oh. Possible outcomes. So, a learning challenge. What's my learning? I don't have high learning. That's probably not going to go well. It says I get a 65% chance, though. Let's try it. He refuses. Fine. Let's see. As the last petitioner departs, various courtiers follow them out of the room. Having business to attend elsewhere, others remain, talking amongst themselves about the recent proceedings. Soon, the ceremonial formality of the proceedings has dropped away entirely, with the hum and bustle of normal courtly life taking its place. All right. The Emerald Empire. That's right. Got that right. All right. Court grandeur increased. So wait, so this guy's still... Oh, he's not. Okay. So we got to take this guy down. What? A Liberty faction. Don't start with me, people. Offer vassalage. This guy won't accept that. Okay, so we need... Oh, I have a daughter. Oh, Elbrig, you have been so brave, so strong. Words cannot describe my love for you. And now we have the perfect little daughter. Scathach. Dubshablag. Finiact. Stefania. I think we already have that. Judith. Let's go with Judith. Fine. Alright, let's educate the child. Oh, man. He's ill. Oh, I forgot. This. Oh, yeah, I forgot. This is my childhood. My first crush. But she was stupid. And she's ill. How did she just deliver a baby? Okay. Yeah. We got all this. So we do need to take Munster. Who's this? Oh, he's being raided. Now, do we have any allies? So we are allied to her. Okay. We could use more. Can we promise my daughter to anybody? What will this bring us? Ooh. Who's this guy? Oh, Iceland. Ah, we could ally to Iceland. I like the sound of that. Alright, what's the deal with this guy? What's wrong with his face? He's strong and hideous. Oh no. Do you have any siblings? How about this guy? I don't want that congenital trait in my line. Ugh, it feels gross just saying it. All right. Yeah, there we go. At least you're a little closer in age. All right, let's get that. All right, we got an alliance. Ireland has an alliance with Iceland. Iceland. So now I'm coming for you. Oh, what? You're allied to Prince William the Red? So his allies' military strength is about 3,000. Yeah, why does it say that? You have many more than that. Gilded Rat's Tail. Oh man, I haven't been paying attention to our stuff. Oh, no, not that. Oh, we don't have enough money. Oh, coronation. Here we go. To the benevolent High King Shananel of Ireland, you are cordially invited to join me and the rest of the realm at Hertfordshire for my upcoming coronation. So this guy's the King of England, huh? What royal line is this? Knitling. David, hello. It's a good play to take Ireland and Scotland, feudalize for free, then take England and form Britannia. Okay. Well, I am Ireland. And, oh wait, am I still... I'm not. So, yeah, okay. I was a subject of Alba, but I'm not anymore. So, yeah, we gotta take them. I guess my guy here wants to invite me to the coronation. So you join his coronation. Participants may gain opinion of others. Alright. Oh, yeah, so we gotta travel there. Okay, you could be my caravan master. We don't really have to travel... Oh, we do. Okay. So yeah, we'll do experienced people there. And then yeah, we're not going through any mountains or anything. Hills. Man-eating monster. What? Mott's, log forts, or moats, I mean, sorry, moats, log forts. Typhus, oh my god. Where would I find the most? Forest. Man-eating monsters. Alright, let's do the forest guide. Remaining dangers en route. There's some. Well, let's do it. Trailside Bond. While traversing a challenging path in Drychid Atha, I hear laughter ahead. My knight Eric and my caravan master Emmer are working together to cross a wide grassland-fed river. Eric, your idea to build a makeshift bridge was brilliant, exclaims Emmer. Oh wait, it's Irk. Irk, not Eric. Irk replies with a chuckle, and you're quick thinking with those long grasses tied it all together. Aw, budding love. Sounds good. Ditch, I hear Eomar shout out in panic. Soon thereafter, I hear a loud cracking sound, like that of wood breaking, or of my patience finally snapping. I step out on the mud to see the splintered remains of a wagon wheel. My wagon wheel. I'm sorry, my liege. It was my turn as lookout, and I fell asleep at the reins. By blood, we're going to be late. Shuffle the supplies around. I'll ride rough from now on. Well, I think we can afford the delay, right? Doesn't it usually tell me somewhere here? Yeah, like I have 4 months, right? Yeah, let's do that. Alright. Oh. Hold on. Stream maintenance. There we go. Okay. A stolen keepsake. In the quiet of our camp near Baal-Atha, that place, a shrieking uproar breaks the calm. My courtier Eomar confronts my caravan master Emmer accusingly, holding a treasured ring. You thief! This was my mother's! Eomer exclaims, eyes blazing with anger. Emmer vehemently denies the claim. You lying buffoon! It has always belonged to me. Which one of these guys do I like more? I don't really know who I really care for all that much. I gained 75. Oh, but I gained a bunch of stress. What's my stress level? I don't have any. Oh yeah, let's do this. Gain a couple of days. My entourage passes through Bangor without issue. Bangor. Until I hear some commotion coming from around my guards. Eventually, a stranger manages to push through and stand at my side, beaming as if blessed by God himself. By the Lord, by Christ, by the Lord, it's the High King of Ireland. Yes, it is. I desire nothing more than to serve you unconditionally for the rest of my life. My guards stand at the ready to throw her back into the mud, but she would certainly make for a loyal courtier. She's not really good at anything. But it's always nice to have a fan. Sure. Join in. Traveling through the sometimes harsh environments. Is this the person I just brought in? Yeah, it is. Traveling through the sometimes harsh environments has invigorating effects on at least my state of mind and vigor. As I glance over at Catriona, however, she does not appear to be doing quite as good. Her movement is labored, her breathing heavy, and spontaneous bursts of coughing ripple through her body. Clearly, she is not well. Jeez, I bring you in, and like this is what you do here? She has pneumonia. Look at this Chad. Alright. As we pass through the market in Wigtown, we hear a loud yell and stumble into an ongoing tussle between two men, tightly observed by a group of people. The crowd cheers profusely as one of them is swept off his feet, face planted solemnly in the dirt, thus concluding the match. Who's next? The man yells into the crowd, and his eyes land on our group. At my side, Urk snorts in response to the challenge. Buddy, I don't know about this. This guy looks pretty big. Hey, Maximilian, hello. I can't sleep 17 hours before the game. Oh no. Too much stress, too much stress. I know the feeling. Travis, hello. Stopping by for a minute. I also have this game, but none of the DLC. Is it still playable with only vanilla? Ooh, that's a tough question because there's now, yeah, a lot of DLC for it. Um, God, I haven't played vanilla in so long. I don't know. I will say this though. I bought the game when it first came out before there were any DLC, and I remember loving it. So the base game without DLC should be very good. It was very good back then. But there's a lot of mechanics they've added in. Like this whole traveling thing I'm doing right now. Well, actually, that's the other thing. I don't know what was part of a DLC and what was just like a free update. But it's definitely a game worth getting. I would get it. And the base game, the vanilla game, is definitely good. So I'll go with a recommend on that one. Oh, I will do it. Yeah, I'm definitely not doing it. Come on, you can do it, Eric. I don't want to lose money on it. Do you like Vic 3 or CK3 more? I mean, definitely Victoria 3. Victoria 3 is like my favorite. I would say I would choose Victoria 3 over any other game, to be honest with you. But I actually started playing CK3 before Victoria 3. CK3 is what led me to Victoria 3, so... Because this game, I think, is just... It's more about the role-playing aspect. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's still a grand strategy game. There's a lot of stuff to do, but because it's so focused on your character, I think it's a more RP heavy. I mean, that kind of seems to be the progression of Paradox games, right? Like, the timeline starts with Crusader Kings, a game focused on RP. Then this game ends and Europa Universalis begins, and Europa Universalis seems to focus more on diplomacy. Then right where EU ends, Victoria picks up. That's focused on economy, and then when that ends, Hearts of Iron picks up, and that's focused more on war. CK2 led me to EU4, led me to CK3, led me to Vic3. Progress. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, so for me it was CK3 led me to Victoria 3, led me to EU4, led me to Hearts of Iron 4. Although if you count it, before CK3, Surviving Mars led me to Crusader Kings 3. And that's, not Paradox Development Studio, but it is a Paradox title. And then somewhere in that midst, Stellaris was in there somewhere. Okay. Passing through a back alley in Dumfries, I see a lonely child and her dog sitting in a corner behind a small wall. Here you go, Valor. She tells it as she hands it a small piece of bread, keeping none for herself. Looking at the two, clearly the dog has been taken much better care than its owner. The kid must be giving it everything she can find. Aww. Yeah. Yeah, give her some food. True, this one is far more role-playing. Paradox makes the best games. They don't have the American brain right yet. Maybe not. Maybe not. I don't know where all the other games are developed. Because I know Europa Universalis is Spain, Victoria is Sweden, but I don't know where this one or Hearts of Iron are developed. Or Stellaris. Stellaris was my first one. Led to EU4, then Vic 3. Yeah, Stellaris is great. I need to do more of that. What David said. Yeah. CK2 to EU4 to CK3 to Vic 3. Also have Stellaris. Never played it, though. Looked like a very steep learning curve. I mean, it is, but I think it's like a steep learning curve like every Paradox game is a steep learning curve. It's tougher in the sense that the politics are so massively wide-ranging. Yeah, and I think see, the thing too, I think with Stellaris is, since all the other Paradox games are historical based or like history based, you have some point of reference. But since Stellaris is all futuristic and sci-fi, I think it does play a factor into it that you can't necessarily, uh, you don't just immediately know what something is about generally, right? Like in this, my culture is developing royal prerogative. As our royalty had a greater burden placed upon them, blah, blah, blah. Like, I can kind of infer what that's about, but with Stellaris, it's a little less so. With Hearts of Iron 4 in between and some Stellaris at the end. Yeah, I really got to get to Hearts of Iron and learn that one a little bit. I would love to try to carry one of my Victoria games into Hearts of Iron. I have a complete memory blank of the learning phase of each game. No idea how the hell I learned to ever play any of them. Yeah. That's kind of true, actually, now that I think about it. I do remember for Victoria 3, it was just like I was doing a run as Cabal into Afghanistan, where at some point in that run, I remember the whole thing just kind of hit me. And I was finally like, oh, wait a second. I think I get this. But this game, I don't remember when this one really clicked for me. As we manage to get through a dangerous path in Dumfries, suddenly a strange feeling that someone is missing bothers me. I don't remember seeing Urk all day. He was keeping the rear guard as we entered a war-torn province. I suppose that wasn't the best idea, knowing his bravado. He's probably already gunning for the front lines. Unless he's just lost somewhere. Alright. What? Why would he develop a grudge against me? Because I found him. Is delayed by 7 days. Combined intrigue and prowess challenge against Urk. What? Ugh, nowhere to be found. Hope Stellaris is canon because Alone in the Universe seems like an extremely boring answer. I feel like it is. I feel like it's kind of... It's. I think it's part of the PDX game progression. I would put it on the timeline. All all Paradox games blow the Civilization games out of the water anymore, though. Coming from a guy that has 3K hours on Civ 6, yeah, I've mentioned this quite a few times on stream. Coming from a guy who has been playing since Civilization 1 when he was 8 years old, Civilization is probably one of the longest relationships I have in my life. But I have to say, after getting really into Paradox games, the complexity of the strategy, going back to Civilization, it just seems kind of too basic. I hate to say it. The impressive defensive structure at the peak of Annandale's forest is quite something. As I wander along the outer perimeter, I notice a peculiar person in the distance. He appears to be mumbling to himself, all the while stopping to crouch and collect what appears to be herbs of various kinds. It's almost as if he is talking to the herbs. I approach him carefully, and he looks up. Various herbs displayed in his palm. I notice a spark of curiosity behind his eyes, promising an unspoken question. So, what's this herb do? I get something I can use in my next murder scheme. Oh, he's an excellent physician. Who is my physician currently? I don't have one. Yeah, how would you like to become my physician? Nice. There we go. Um, yeah, the way the star nations can vary is so crazy. Machines, genocide, cyborgs. It's a different game every time. Yeah, it seems like that. I feel like I still haven't fully grasped the game, though I haven't legit like dedicated. Like that's the thing with any Paradox game, you got to sit and dedicate yourself to it for a period of time in order to learn it. That one is like no different. I disagree wholeheartedly. You can't compare Paradox games with Civilization, and I am a Paradox, aka Grand Strategy guy. But Civ is Civ, and it's very special for that reason. A unique game. Actually, yeah, I actually 100% agree with that too. I think you're right. I think I was comparing more my gameplay, my experience playing. So I guess what I'm saying is I enjoy, in the end, as somebody who's been enjoying Civilization my entire life, after starting Paradox games, I just enjoy Paradox games more. But you're right, Civilization is just an inherently different game. So yeah, I guess the comparison isn't really apt. Can you still create a character in custom nations, but still choose a normal character to play, leaving your custom character as AI nation? Oh. Yeah, I mean, you can create a character. Wait, though, in custom nations... yeah, you can create your character, but then leave them and play as a real character. I don't know, I've never actually tried it. I suppose you could do that. I don't know how you would switch characters to somebody else. Looking at humanity right now, seems like if there's aliens and they're weaker than us, humanity going to be the Imperium of man. If they're stronger, then we're Star Trek Federation, them Imperium of man. Yeah, unfortunately, I agree with you on that one. There's a good Civ 5 mod called Community Balance Patch. That was the closest way I've played Civ like a Paradox game, but vanilla Civ games feel too easy for me now with Paradox experience. Yeah, see, that's the thing. They do feel a little easier now. You are a fun guy to watch. Oh, thank you. Glad I found you. About to do the picker wheel to see which game I play, though. I need that sometimes. Sometimes I do get to a point where I'm like, I start a game, I play for 5 minutes, turn it off, start another game, play for 5 minutes, and just start going like that. I need to do a picker wheel. But thank you. I appreciate that compliment. Highly prefer Star Trek Federation, but not having high hopes for humanity. Have any of you ever played, what's it? I forget. It's like Star Trek Infinite or something like that. It was such a money grab by Paradox, where they created a Star Trek branded, basically, version of Stellaris. They build it as its own thing, but when you play it, it is just very literally Stellaris with a Star Trek mod on top of it. And yet somehow it's just not as fun as Stellaris. And it totally bombed, and they gave up on the game. It had such potential, though. It looks so cool. I wasn't talking to you, but yes, and this is why I'll probably never stream games. You cannot get me away from the computer if I sit down to play Civilization one more turn. See, I know, yeah, I know, that's the thing. That's what pains me about Civilization 7. I don't feel that one more turn. Every Civ game, there's that one more turn feeling. And Civ 7, I haven't felt that yet. Hate to say it. I want to like Civ 7 so much because visually it looks beautiful. I just can't seem to do it. I'm a min-max player. I create a female in a Welsh minor with best genetic traits. Oh, but then after click Alfred the Great, kill my wife, and marry the created character to make Giga Chad kids. That's interesting. I've never actually tried that. Oh wait, but haven't played CK3 in ages. You probably can still do it. I don't see why you wouldn't be able to. It's an interesting strategy there. Yeah, because I know, like, when you create your character, you can also add a wife in, but you can't, like, edit the wife at all, which is kind of odd. Um, we walk the woodland path at a good pace, enjoying the peaceful ambiance. From the corner of my eye, I am sure I glimpse the sharpened tusks of... A loud squeal confirms it. A boar! A fearsome beast. Oh my god. I mean, I guess I've never encountered a boar. It has tusks, so I guess it's scary. It is a pig, though, right? The dark beast charges onto the track. Its great trotters kicking up mud, flanked by oak trees. It completely blocks our way forward to Warwick. That is the thing, though, right? Like, boars are, like, mean. So it'll attack you, right? So I guess, yeah, it is a fearsome beast. Rue whispers, just look at those tusks. Oh my god, 40% I die. Yeah, we're not doing that. Prowess challenge. What is my prowess? Not bad. Yeah, you go, buddy. Do I like this guy? He's high learn. Oh, this is my personal physician. Run! Run for your lives! Yeah, I don't want either of us to die. Eh. Oh, wait, what's his prowess? His prowess is awful. Yeah, just run. I don't want either of us to die. I need a good physician. Oh, Hadrian's Wall. Look at that. The road has gotten incredibly hilly the past few hours, and everyone is beginning to be wary. With no end to the hills in sight, my caravan master Emmer approaches me and says, "My lord, our mounts cannot carry on like this for much longer. The poor animals need a break, for I fear they'll collapse. We must stop to rest." She knows full well that this will delay our journey to Warwickshire. All right, we can delay a little bit, I guess. Back in real life, I am nervous. Playing Turkey is going to be hard. It's a do or die situation. It's a big regional rivalry as well. If we win it, I might get an excuse to leave the house. Don't visit Astoria at 5 to 6 p.m. your time. Or, actually, that is the best time to go visit Astoria. So anybody who's unaware, Maximilian's talking about the Greece versus Turkey semifinal in the well, what's the competition called? Like the European competition for basketball. And here in New York, Astoria is the Greek the Greek mini Greece of New York City, though it's also Little Egypt as well. But I would say there's more Greek people in Astoria than Egyptian. I tread the wood path slowly, cautious after my recent encounter with a wild beast. My heart sinks when I hear a squeal in the dense undergrowth. God mocks me. A boar! Oh my god. The black beast charges onto the track, its great trotters kicking up mud, flanked by poplar trees. It completely blocks our way forward to Warwick. Just look at those tusks. Alright, man. You go get him. Oh, man. He died. Ah. Good thing I didn't try to do it. Damn. Yeah, let's get Taxman here. Eurobasket tournament. Yeah, okay. There you go. As we walk through the church in Wolverhampton, I overhear a group of travelers talking quietly to one another. One of them, a man, starts describing and comparing the church with his journey to Canterbury. I can't help but listen in on the conversation as he continues going into detail about the fantastic things he saw in Kent. Looking around, I can only imagine how much better it must be than the dainty sight I see here. Tell me more about Canterbury. Yeah, let's do this one. I think Civ 7 would have been better off with some kind of faction internal politics feature instead of the ages feature, in my opinion. Yeah, like, I hate to say it, but, like, the changing civs thing. I know it's just, like, it's the thing everybody complains about, but it's true. I just don't like it. I thought it was a cool idea. In the lead up to the game, I was like, oh, that seems pretty interesting. I'm excited to try it. But in the end, I just, like, I don't like it. In Mundo Basket for the World One, where all 4 confederations participate, the good thing of growing in Europe is that you have very strong European tournaments in all sports. Yeah. Yeah, the European competitions, there's just so many more countries. Same thing in soccer, you know. I mean, I love the CONCACAF Gold Cup, our region soccer tournament, but yeah, it's just not. There's not as many viable teams that can win it. It's only the USA and Mexico have ever won it, and then there was one time Canada won it. And that's the thing. I think you need, for any competition in any sport, you need to have multiple teams to have a realistic chance of winning a competition. And if you only have 2, it doesn't make for... If you have only 2 and maybe sometimes 3, it's not enough. It seems that our caravan has become a little lost in these foreign lands. Emmer has been trailing us around Birmingham for hours. And though she at last swallowed her pride and asked for directions, she does not appear to be an expert Anglic speaker. I successfully interpreted it. Alright, our first coronation. Now let's see how this DLC works. Is it just me, or does EU5 look really ugly with crappy control mechanics? You know, I think for me specifically, the map. The screenshots I've seen of the map, I'm always like, is this the final product? Because, yeah, it does not look great, especially compared to the Victoria 3 map. Yeah. I don't know as much about the control mechanics yet, but yeah, I kind of feel you there. It doesn't look that beautiful yet. Whereas, you know, you look at like Victoria 3, you look at the dev diary for Victoria 3 that came out today, that's all about the new art in the upcoming DLC. It's like, it's gorgeous. It looks amazing. I'm amazed that the US sucks, even though it plays football in the CONCACAF. You should walk that every 4 years, but yeah. Well, no, I mean, we do sometimes. It goes between us and Mexico. Mexico is legitimately a good team, although they are going through a difficult moment right now. But historically, Mexico is a very strong team. So it's always a competition between us and Mexico. Though it goes in phases. You know, there was a good, I'd say 10, 12 years where we were just steamrolling that tournament. But then the pendulum swings over to Mexico. Although right now, I would say the US and Mexico, the men's federations are in some turmoil. Neither of us are looking that great. I finally arrived at Warwick for the coronation. Love or hate the king, none can deny the feeling of importance shared between we who shall stand witness. Toll collectors. Wait, have I not arrived yet? Oh, I haven't arrived yet. Oh man, am I gonna miss the start of it? Oh, 5 months until it begins. Okay. Mexico's just decent, but consistently for decades, if not a generation now. And Canada has become really strong in the past. They used to be great in hockey, but now also football and basketball. I always say in soccer, Canada is like the Wales of North America. Like, at least compared to like the US and Mexico. This is how I feel about the Welsh team. You look at the list of players they've had in the past, you look at their rosters, Like for Wales, you look at their rosters in the past, and you're like, how has this team never done anything? Like never even like qualified for the World Cup except this, that last one. Um, and I feel like that with Canada. Like you look at some of the list of players the Canadian team has had compared to like the U.S. and Mexico, they should have been a strong opposition for a long time, but they never really were. But recently, now they really are, and they have their head coach was the New York Red Bulls former coach, probably one of the best coaches in our team's history, and he absolutely should have been named the U.S. head coach and wasn't. So I do kind of root for Canada for that reason. His name is Jesse Marsh, and he's fantastic. We have stayed on the road slightly too long, and the sun is starting to dip below the horizon. Out of the surrounding terrain, shapes start to merge and form into angry-looking armed figures. This here road is a toll. Pay up, says the biggest and, frankly, ugliest of the bunch. My caravan master Emmer steps forward, weapon raised, and looks to me for direction. Perhaps you take payment in blood. Let's see what happens. Is anything Are we moving? Oh, wait. Oh. Yeah, we've arrived. Oh, we're about to arrive. Alright. So what do we want to do? You can expect to enjoy piety, legitimacy, cultural acceptance. Offer support. Gold, prestige, or claims. Actually, yeah, by giving staunch support to the crown, you hope to gain... Is it blasphemy to be the first king of Ireland and we're giving support to the English crown? I mean, we are going to need this we're going to need this alliance if we're going to take Scotland and Wales, which I hope to do. So we will support the English crown. Very, very sorry to my kids' Irish ancestors. Another min-max trick I remember is using Pastin, if that's right, to take a duchy, then add Scandinavian election to the duchy. Means you can elect the heir yourself, and it doesn't count as inheritance. Ooh, that's okay. That's interesting. Maybe we'll look into that. The English haven't messed with Ireland yet, so it's fine. All right. We're going to take a pause. We're at the hour mark, so we're going to take a quick 90-second break to pay homage to the gods of ads, go to the bathroom, get a drink, and we will be right back. Alright, and we're back, and we're back. Also, Hassan can do invade CB with completely, which completely moves him to a new duchy. You can take Latium straight away, which can be quite fun. Oh man, okay, maybe after this coronation we'll start looking into that. So we can always use some more stuff. Now what's happening here? Oh, okay, here we go. Now it's starting. The gathering is as grand as expected. Faces familiar and foreign mingle, and I hear greetings. Uh, and I hear greetings just warm enough to be polite. When the host speaks, the room quiets out of instinct. My friends, my vassals, my kin, your presence honors me more than my crown could. Until the ceremony begins, eat, drink, speak freely, and know that I see each of you and will not forget who stood here with me today. A kind promise or a quiet warning, depending on how one chooses to hear it. Major supporters. Okay. King Thurfith. Oh yeah, that's the guy. Okay, this guy. Takes a second to observe the crowd, quietly considering. The voices of the courtiers have become as constant as the chirping of birds, and I have no doubt that Gunhilda intends to join them. Okay. Good High King, she says, sliding up to me. May I be so bold as to ask what are your thoughts on the celebration? I have no doubt that King Thurfrith rule will be one of love and justice. The magnificence of the coronation increases notably. Long may he reign. No, let's do this one. I had an opener for EU4 for England, which I actually think was probably world class and could never be beaten. Love seeing how far I can push the limits of this game, of these games. Yeah, yeah. I have to say, I think Paradox especially too. I feel like are really good for like min maxers. I like watching min max runs. I'm not much of a min maxer myself, though. Sometimes I think I do have times in my play style that I do it, but I'm definitely not like a min maxer because I've seen some min maxers at work, and this is not it's not my play style, but it's impressive. Um, Victoria 3 is definitely a game that lends itself to that. Good High King, I turn around to find Earl Richard next to a nervous man. You know that I cherish you, and it would bring me great joy to help you. Here I offer you first and best of my men, Pharamond, my well accomplished caravan leader. May this serve as the start of a friendship between our houses. You're giving me this guy? What is he good at? He's got the lover's pox. What do I want this guy for? I know exactly what he should do. Yeah, not touch anybody with that pox. That's what he should do. Master of the Horse. Maybe. If I take this, do I not have to take this grody guy? Yeah, there we go. Hi, King Shananel. King Thurfith calls for me with a big smile. Next to him stands another guest, an earl that I am not acquainted with. This is Earl Richard, King Thurfrith introduces him. I believe you two would find much common ground. These practices for tax collectors. Best practices for tax collectors, perhaps. Yeah. Oh, this is... Oh, this guy is Richard. Oh, the grody guy is Richard. Oh, man. Wash your hands after hanging out with this guy. Yeah, let's form a friendship with the king. Screw this guy. Guests for the coronation of my acquaintance King Thurfrith are pouring in. Okay, I gotta figure out King Thurfrith. 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 Oh my god, this is hard. Uh, all giving minor oaths. Thanks to their invitations and pledges for fealty or support. Soon it shall be my turn. Must I stand out from the crowd? Must I use my brief audience to convince the king of my worthiness? Let's see. Becomes a supporter. Gains 30 okay. Will become the owner of the small religious carving. Gains 30 opinion of you. We'll gain 30 opinion. Yeah, let's do that. Our benign King Thurfith has been finally left alone. My acquaintance... Oh. Our benign King Thurfith has been finally left alone. My acquaintance Duchess Borthflead observes, smiling warmly. This is the chance for us supporters to show our loyalty. Go ahead, Shanano. We cannot waste this opportunity. Not forget who's... What's the petition? Let's see, I spend a bunch of prestige. An alliance would be the most advantageous. Yeah, it would. Become friends. This is what I want. Yes, there we go. I now have an alliance with the King of England. I finally managed to leave the other guests behind and enter in search of a quiet moment. The altar to God shines dimly, illuminated by a dozen candles. A fragrant silence fills the cold walls. To my right, a mural of St. Matthew offers me a stern look. To the left, the tincture that once was Jesus is fading slowly, his smile almost imperceptible. God, do not forsake England. What? Oh my god. I trust myself to Jesus. Ooh, a prayer for wealth. I think we'll do this. All preparations are complete. The great ceremonial assembly now awaits in Warwick's High Church. To cheers and exultation, King Thurfith procession parts the crowd, and my retinue follows in our honorary place. Peasants team forth for a glimpse of the soon-to-be king atop their parents' shoulders amidst the multitude. Anglo-Saxon children's grin. God, do not forsake England. Oh wait, have you tried the cultural hybrid mechanic in this game? I have tried it in the past. I haven't done it in a while. So this series is my first time back to CK3 in a while. But I did it quite a few times in the past with various runs. Though I need to, if I'm going to do it again, I got to kind of remind myself of the mechanics. I know this is OT, but what if Civ replaced politics, traditions you buy with culture and replace them with interests. 4 major factions that dynamically steer victory paths with objectives. So Civ replaced policies and traditions you buy with culture and replace them with interests. 4 major factions that dynamically steer victory paths with objectives. That would be kind of cool. Yeah, I have to say the whole policies, traditions thing. The policies thing I felt like was cool in Civ 6. In Civ 7, I find I find them as more of a nuisance to have to like figure out. I don't know why. So yeah, having like interests that you have to declare, I think that would be cool. I'd be into that. Yeah, that rival each other. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a cool idea. Until the bishops, the English nobility, and the common people have all acted their customary part, Thurfwith is no true king. His rule cannot be just without their acceptance of it. First, the priests. Theirs is a call for the king to honor their holy rights and to defend the faithful. Thurfwith assents. Then the elders of Warwick stare at the king in awe as the masses outside exalt his royal name. Thurfwith's vassals step forth to supplicate themselves. Most grow with hope and truly swear their loyalty and love. The ceremony continues and on and on. Okay. The final sacral moment draws near. But first, the anointing, the mark of King Thurfus' mandate from God. Athelstan himself bears the holy oil. Athelstan, the shepherd of England, marks Thurfith with the sacred golden oil on his hands, his head, his breast, his shoulders, and the bends of his arms. A blessing for prophets, priests, and monarchs. The king's skin shines with the very approval of God. Why didn't I get one of these when I became king? Forth come the royal symbols. The glittering sword is girded to Thurfus' hip. The scepter of sovereign authority taken up in his hand. His fingers wrap around the globus cruciger, a cross-bearing orb, typically of precious metal. It is held in the hand as an element of royal regalia and a symbol of the Savior's dominion over all the world. So to his body come the armels, and the pallium. The prayers rumble on. Graced by royal treasures, Thurfus kneels just in one final time. For the King of England, the king he is about to truly become, he bows only to God. Okay. What's... call to war? Wait, what? We just became allies. I'm at your coronation, and you're, like, calling me to war? I call you to honor our alliance and join me in the war against the... Oh! No, no, no. What? Wait, what is this? To the charming High King Chananel of England, I call on your honor... I call on you to honor our alliance and join me in the war against the tyranny of King Thurfith. What? Oh. Okay. I was reading this like he is starting a war against the tyranny of himself. Okay. These guys are starting a war against the tyranny of him. Yes. Okay. Accept. War waits for no man. The blaring of the war horns have reached me here in Warwickshire as I am attending High King Chananel of Ireland's coronation. I have been summoned to aid in the war between Duke Tancred and King Thurfith. I can manage things from here. Alright, so let's raise the armies. Let's do that. Thurfer stands by himself in front of the crowd as all await his oath. Not all legacies are born in war. Some are crafted in stone with sweat and purpose. I will reshape England with monuments worthy of the future. From from Middlesex, I will raise a realm not just to endure, but one that enters a golden age shaped by care and vision. Oh man. The formalities have ended, and with them, the stillness that held the gathering in place. A few murmurs rise as the host stands again, this time to mark the end of the ceremony and the start of something more relaxed. They raise their voice just enough to carry. My friends, the rites are complete. Let the tables be filled, let the cups be raised, and let this hall remember joy as well as duty. The words are well received, and for the first time all day, the gathering starts to feel like a celebration. If you attack the Pope, you can sometimes capture the Pope's hat. Pretty nice relic, really. Can I wear it? Am I allowed to like have it be on my character? Yes, that's funny. It reminds me of that scene from the Euro Trip movie. Yeah, it's called a tiara, by the way. Oh, wait, the Pope's hat is called a tiara? That's wearable. Pretty good buffs. I'm the Pope now. Outside the feast, I enjoy a breath of fresh air and a view of Warwick, along with the sounds of lovers in a nearby shrub and a local knight vomiting dangerously near them. Above it all, the sounds of the castle's town celebrations hang in the air. An idea then strikes. King Thurfish would no doubt appreciate the people singing his name, and the castle townfolk a night of free drink. I would simply need to find a merchant willing to sell at this hour. Yeah, I don't have anything. Alright, let's send... Where is this war? The one that looks like a crown is the papal tiara. The Pope has many other hats. That's interesting. I didn't know it was called that. Oh, my mom, who's Catholic, would be so disappointed in me. The main dish arrives. This piece de resistance will be remembered by the great and the good. As our host cuts into the meat, my hunger turns to ash in my mouth, the roast spewing blood across the table. The banquet is made a battlefield. I fight the urge to gag as whispers of disgust rise around me. Oh, this is a tough one. Sure, I'll eat it. I gain the trait ill. He already has 100. Don't go into the water. Embarkation will cost you 24 gold to go through Scotland. Oh, you know, that's right. I forgot. I can change the direction they take, right? How do I do that? Yeah, that's right. Do I have to, like, take them this way? Alright. Click on the army, then shift and click on the provinces. Yeah. Alright, that's what I thought. Yeah, there we go. Awesome, awesome. where did the event go? There we go. Your Highness, starts Athelstan, the Archbishop of King Thurfith of England, a distinct odor following him to my table. You must meet this most interesting man. He has brought delightful and exotic Saracen cakes back from his adventures on Crusade. Well, I don't really have the money for this. I gained secret stash. Oh, come on, don't do this to me. This is the most annoying thing with Paradox games, when the tooltip just will not... Ugh, whatever. Well, what could it hurt? So I get high. Let's do it. Maximilian with the clutch again. That's right. What is your relation with cannabis? Ah ha ha ha. Well, currently my character has a close relationship. He got high at the king's coronation. Hi, King Shananel. My acquaintance Gunhilda calls my name. My dear brother Thurfith speaks fondly of you, she proudly says. Taking a sip of her spiced wine, I have been looking forward to feasting with you. Let's see. Every participating courtly vassal gains 10... Okay, yeah, let's do that. Amicable. Smoking right now. There you go. What is your relations? Amicable. Oh, I wanted to ask if you use. I have used, and I don't use it. I don't do it regularly, but if it's around, I'll do it. So, yeah, we're acquaintances. My hometown grows cannabis, but I don't frequent it. Although I did get extremely high in Amsterdam. Nice. Yeah, I mean, like in New York, it's now legal, and same in New Jersey. But yeah, I guess, yeah. Me and my wife are always like, oh, we should pick up some in New Jersey when we're visiting family on our way home. We always forget to. Yeah, so like, I don't mind doing it, but I don't go out of my way to go get it. Hey, hello, Bod T. Yo, friend, I am enjoying your stream and love your content. Would love to join your community. Yeah. Thank you, thank you. And support you as a fan. Kindly, yep, add me on Discord. Okay. Have to go to the dam before I die. Yeah, I've never visited Amsterdam. I would love to. Cam Cuts is 420 friendly. Sweet. Yep. I do not mind it. I do not mind it, Sam I am. Pass the ganja, Sam, my friend. What started as an ordinary feast became an exceptional one thanks to the presence of Mayor Richard. We spoke all evening about all manner of subjects, and as things would have it, we seemed to have a lot in common. I had such a good time with him. Man, I feel like pretty much all of tonight's stream is going to be this coronation. This is a long event. There's nothing like a feast. It reminds us all of what is good in life. And the company is not too bad either. At least those seated close to me seem to think so. You are something special, Shananel, Athelstan tells me. Ermintrude and Wilhelmine nod their heads in agreement. See, they definitely are high. I love you, man. You're cool. You're good company. And then everybody else just silently, yep. I will do what feels right. I've got some really nice stuff at the moment. Smells and tastes of strawberries. Really? I love strawberries. It sounds delightful. Oh, that's just wonderful. I summoned the ganja man. Yep. How could you... You can't play world domination strategy games completely sober. That's why I at least always have some wine or something with me. I am a proper High King now. My coronation proved worthy of my rank. A fine spectacle for the guests, many of whom still linger in hopes of a few final royal words. Alright, so thanks to King Thurfel's impress attendees' intent, the cultural acceptance between the Anglo-Saxon has increased. Finally, the coronation has concluded. So he gained 20 opinion of King Richard. Every supporter gained 20 opinion of King Richard. Okay. Oof. Oh, I didn't even notice this is the new DLC. I saw a lot of complaints. But it's just $5. Oh, is it only $5? I got the like season pass when it first came out, so it just downloaded for me. Coronations, huh? I might need to play some CK3. Yeah, that was pretty cool, right? All I've heard is complaints about it. I've heard people say it broke the game for them. I mean, knock on wood, you know, I haven't run into anything yet. Maybe we should save. Read something about it today. Something about all the DLC quests auto-failing for everyone was an issue. Huh, okay. I've seen the world and beheld its many wonders in my travels, but never have I beheld such beauties as the ones I've seen in Birmingham. Truly, Anglo-Saxon women are a cut above all the rest. Easy, buddy, easy. You're a married man. One particularly fascinating specimen, oh my god, has taken my eye as of late. A peasant woman by the name of Margaret. Oh my god, Margaret. And she's lustful. She's an astute intellectual, though. A pretty little treasure, she is far too pleasing to my eye to spend her days slaving away in Birmingham. My new paramour. Alas. Yeah, my first character I played as a cheating guy, but I don't see any benefit to this. Yeah, okay, not playing just yet then. Okay, I haven't really seen a CK game stream. The itch is growing. Yeah, that's a... I feel like Crusader Kings is one that, like, I'll put down for some time, and then every now and then I'm like, oh, let me check it out again. And then the moment I start it up, I'm like, oh, man, I forget how much I love this game. Yeah, but this new coronation... Somebody told me in the stream earlier this morning that... So, everybody's complaining about this Coronations DLC, how it's breaking their game. I haven't read this yet, or haven't seen it, but I also haven't looked for it. But they said the devs released a letter basically saying, like, sorry that our DLC broke your game. We're spending all our time on the next DLC. And so that's what happened, which is like an awful thing to say, but that's what happened. Emmer's in charge of our food supplies and sheepishly revealed our provisions are now all but useless, having been poorly stored. Patches of mold cover the bread and produce, and we have quickly used up our remaining dried food. The party grows hungry as dusk begins to fall. It's just a bit of mold, my friends. You find some forage. You eat the wrong plant. You eat the worst plant and die. Yeah, the locals around. Let's check the locals. Probably best to romance your wife and become soulmates so she never turns on you. I think we are, actually, because we were like childhood friends. Yeah, she's my lover. I guess we're not soulmates yet. Yeah, we should work on that. As we walk through the streets of, Lancashire, a procession of soldiers emerge from a side street. Most of them are injured and aided by downtrodden civilians. A herald proudly stands up in front of the throng of people gathering around the marketplace and declares with a loud voice, "We have crushed those East Anglian dogs yet again. It is only a matter of time before victory is ours." And yet the celebratory words pales when I look at the injured soldiers and their grieving relatives. My God, we gotta stop giving away our money. Ooh, and our income is really going down. Oh yeah, our armies are raised though. Maybe they have some wisdom to share. Well, enough of this doom and gloom. We have to go. Ooh, I gained some there. We are just about to break camp morning on our way to Dublin when I find Emmer in her lodgings, breathing heavily and pale as a sheet. She winces under my scrutiny and lets out a bellowing cough. Did Emmer also contract something? Is this a plague? Hmm. I suppose we can wait some time. I was looking at the political sim game sale on Steam. Any good recommendations? Well, yeah, you saw I got what's it called? Suzerain. Um, what else is on there? I'll have to look. I can't think of anything off the top of my head. I was scanning through it, but nothing really popped out at me. Although there's a lot of stuff on there that I've had on my wish list for some time, but nothing I've actually tried. Not on sale max, but the new Anno game looks quite fun. Yeah, I think it's coming in the next month or two. Pax Romana. There's also they released a demo that you can play. I was playing the demo the other day, so I don't know if it's still on there. I hear Crisis in the Kremlin, the Cold War, is pretty good. Pretty bare bones look though, so isn't for everybody. And I'm sure you've seen all the talk of Suzerain, which I'd also strongly recommend. Yeah, and Suzerain is only $6. Or I paid $16 to get that with the DLC that's coming out. I was thinking about that. I played the original Crisis in the Kremlin, and I think I'm going to buy the new one, which looks much more user-friendly. Suzerain, I have everything for years. Yeah. Rocks, I hear Eomer shout out in panic. Soon thereafter, I hear a loud cracking sound, like that of wood breaking or of my patience finally snapping. I step out onto the dirt to see the splintered remains of a wagon wheel, my wagon wheel. I'm sorry, my liege, it was my turn to as lookout, and I fell asleep at the reins. Alright. Because I'm passing by my army. We are walking among the hills late in the day. The darkness comes suddenly, brought by the dark clouds above us. Then there's a distant loud rumble of thunder. Soon there is another, combined with a dazzling flash of lightning. And another strike, briefly illuminating the area. The after image burned into my eyes. I blink and see where the lightning has struck. Now there is a quickly expanding brush fire, and it is spreading towards us. Run! Yeah, let's run. Alright, good. You had me searching Pax Romana and wondering why nothing comes up for a minute, then realizing did a typo. I thought it was literal and the game was Romanian related. Yeah, no, it's Anno 117, Pax Romana. We have stayed on the road slightly too long, and the sun is starting to dip below the horizon. Out of the surrounding terrain, shapes start to emerge and form into angry-looking armed figures. This here road has a toll to pay up, says the biggest and frankly ugliest of the bunch. This is all the same events. My caravan master, Emmer, steps forward, weapon raised, and looks to me for direction. Yeah, we're not paying. Same for me, though I didn't play too much. Maybe I'll find this version more enjoyable. Yeah, the Anno series, I find, like, my interest in it is kind of mid. Like, Anno 1800 was cool. This Pax Romana one looks interesting. But, yeah, like, the supply chain aspect is pretty cool. And it satisfies the itch. But again, it's just like, it's no Paradox game. But it is fun. Or at least Anno 1800 was a lot of fun. And after playing the demo of Anno 117, it looks like that one will be very good too. Though, you know, I did try getting Anno 2205, and that one kind of fell flat for me. It's tough to deal with like futuristic space travel one, but also these sea battles still matter. I don't really get what that was about. The high altitude and the brisk air of Oriel has a very refreshing quality as we traverse the local hill fort. The soldiers in the valley below appear to be practicing some rare type of training technique I haven't seen before. I move in closer, failing to restrain my curiosity. While doing so, I am approached by the local captain, Vieshne. Would you like to join? Would you like to join in, my lord? I don't want to pay any money. Yeah, let's just get home. Oh, that was to max, but I find Anno terrible because there's no storage. Oh, I'm not sure why the lack of stockpiles bothers me so much. Oh, there's no... I feel like in Anno 1800, I don't remember that. That's weird. At long last, I'm finally home. There's nothing better than arriving back in Dublin after a long journey. I look forward to resting for some time, but the call of the road beckons ever onward. My caravan master Emma reports that we have journeyed for 476 days and traversed 37 baronies. God, that took over a year of my life to do. But you know, so the coronations thing, I don't know, it's kind of cool. It got us an alliance with the King of England. So, kind of a cool mechanic so far. Ooh, our armies are getting their butts handed to them. Oh no, my sister Magdalena died. So when we're done with this war, we can go take the rest of the island here. We really do, I think, need to upgrade our armies here since we're still at decent quality. Why is she always sick? At least it seems like that. You know what one of my favorite runs to do in CK3 is? Starting off as the Earl of Cornwall, because you start off with the lowest possible rank you can have. You're not a duke. Yeah, you just no, you don't. Yeah, the earldom of Cornwall. This is when you take this one, because there's a character that's just the Earl of Cornwall, and you start off that way, and then slowly try to build yourself up in the Kingdom of England. I actually really love that play. I do that one all the time. Alright, let's stay close to these guys. I haven't seen too much of it. I just fancy that style of game. Not played anything but Paradox in this sort of genre for a long time. Yeah. Yeah, when it comes to Anno too, like... It's kind of like what we were saying with Civilization before. Oh, nice. There we go. Like, you play it, and it's fun, it's good, but it also kind of makes you feel like, oh, I kind of just want to play, like, a Paradox game. I have uncovered a vicious scheme by Petty King Demon to have you murdered. His agents are being rounded up as I write this, but although Demon has been foiled for now, he remains a threat for the future, unless we take action, that is. Who is this guy? Oh, the Petty King of Leinster. Maybe we'll go after you first, buddy. Understandable. Hopefully you enjoy it. I'm not sure why I thought Anno was Paradox for a second, but it's Ubisoft. Oh, I forgot to get rid of the Streamlabs bot. It pinged you. You're in a timeout? Okay, I'm turning the bot off for the rest of the stream. I'm so tired of this bot. Hold on. Alright, my friends, the bot is off. I need to get a new chat bot. There we go. Yeah, the bot just hates us all. Off with the bot's head. It's the worst. Wait, so oh yeah, are you actually in a timeout? I wonder if I can change that. I should be able to change that on my end, right? I don't know. Are you in a timeout? Can you chat anything? Because the YouTube part doesn't let me change it. How about not having any bots and just blocking users yourself? We're a small community anyway. See, so I had the bot off for a long time. And then sure enough, the stream after... Oh, just those your title. No, this isn't me. This is the guy I need to fight. This is the guy who's trying to kill me, the incompetent. Sure enough, the first stream after I turned the chat bot off, somebody had I was doing a Frostpunk 2 stream. Somebody came in and just spammed a bunch of text-generated male genitalia in the chat. So that's why I had turned it back on. Ah, we got the royal. All right, we got the royal prerogative discovered. My spy master has come to me with grave news. While we do not yet know who, someone is plotting to kill my wife. Gee, could it be the person plotting to kill me? Yeah, it said I was placed in one, but I think my messages are going through. Yeah, yeah, I can see your messages. Well, Twitch is Twitch. You can't post D-pics in YouTube. Yeah, this is true. Well, it's off now. We'll keep it off for a little bit. Earl Richards Hunt. Geez, another coronation? Who's this guy? I don't think I can go to both. You have to leave within 3 days. No, we'll stay. I don't want to spend the money. We need to keep some money. What stream was that? I want to see his face when this happened. You have to join Scotland and make them friends too. No, I want to take them over. Though I suppose we could try another coronation. It is the new DLC. You have to leave within 5 months. I wonder if I can go to the hunt, finish the hunt, and then go to the coronation. One of the things that annoys me with CK3, constantly being invited to subjects, feasts, etc., it gets boring very quick. Yeah, this is true. I suppose I should just not go to some. The people want more coronations. Alright, yeah, let's give it a try. Why not? So, what are we going to run into here? Yeah, I don't think we need this. Oh, a forder. We would need that. Right? No, this is just a straight. Yeah, let's keep it... Let's keep it cheap. We'll have forest guides. Well... Yeah, and we'll do mercenary guards. Why not? Okay. Yeah, I know I can do that. But, like, is it going to really change anything? I forget how I do it. Oh yeah, customize route, yeah. Like, we'll run into some danger here. But it seems like there's a lot of danger there. Although oh wait, yeah, I suppose I could not go through there. Well, where's... Oh. There we go. Oh yeah, look at that. So now there's no... So maybe we'll get rid of the forest guard. Yeah, there we go. Save us some money. Yeah. Yeah, I probably don't need them, right? Yeah, very good tip. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, click on the plus sign to avoid the hills in Scotland. Go from the white area, yeah. try to avoid North Ireland too. Yeah, I won't make a joke about that. All right. The journey through Bealatha unveils sprawling pastures dotted with cattle. As my retinue pauses at the edge of a verdant field, the herdsman approaches. Cheerfully strumming his lute, he grants a broad smile in greeting. My lord, he begins, these beasts are the pride of our province. Will you join me to witness our labor? Restock your supplies or perhaps partake in our famous Bealatha blue cheese. Ooh, some development growth and fertility. We get extra supplies. I get well fed. I gain aged cheese artifact. No, let's get this. I want to get the development. Should be an auto tab to route with least attrition. Yeah, right? You would think so. I guess they want you to try to work out your own route or something, right? Yeah, this is the same event we got a couple times before about the dangers on the road. Now, we'll slow down for a second. I want to go to war here. So he's got 1,800, that 1,800, and this guy. Oh, although, can I even do it? Add an activity. Alright, so we can't do it until this coronation is done. The Sentinel Hills. As the silhouette of Carrick looms ahead, the rugged outlines of hill forts command the landscape. A brutish-looking group of warriors approach. Their leader, the coarsest of them all. My lord, he nods. We are men from Moramir, Les Serfiona's garrison. For a small fee, we can protect you on your journey. What say you? Huh. Look at this guy, prowess 32. I'd pay 20 to have this guy. Oh, yeah, look at this. Okay, so he'll join my court. We pay, we pay more money. Yeah, let's do this one. Heard of an anecdote. Guy gets stopped in a North Irish patrol. They ask him if he is Catholic or Protestant. He responds that he is an atheist. They ask again, are you a cat atheist or a prot atheist? 45 is steep, but I just saved you 36. Yeah, but we got some prestige out of it. New council guy. Ah, yeah, maybe a new council guy, right? Yeah, he is. Oh, we've arrived. I finally arrived at St. Johnston for the coronation. Love or hate the king, none can deny the feeling of importance shared between we who shall stand witness. Hold on, we'll come back to this. Let's see, is Frederick good at anything else? I don't... Oh, he's pretty good, too. This guy is better. I don't want to piss him off too much, though. My life is in his hands. You know the suburbs with the white picket fence. Oh, oh yeah, I forgot the prelude. Wait, do you mean we? Are you saying that's where we are? We're in the burbs right now. The gathering is as grand as expected. Faces familiar and foreign mingle, and I hear greetings just warm enough to be polite. When the host speaks, the room quiets out of instinct. My friends, my vassals, my kin, your presence honors me more than any crown could. Until the ceremony begins, eat, drink, speak freely, and know that I see each of you and will not forget who stood here with me today. A kind promise or a quiet warning, depending on how one chooses to hear it. All right. I love that part of Ireland called Mayo. Yeah, great for sandwiches. All right. We're at the 2-hour mark. We're going to take a quick break, 90 seconds, and we'll be right back. All right, and we're back. And we are back. All right, let's do this. There he is. Earl Giric points at our host, King Merchu, standing alone. Finally. This is our chance, Giric insists. We are here to stand in witness and support his coronation. It is only fair that we get something in return. You know, I forgot to look at this stuff. Cultural acceptance. I'll gain some piety. Ooh. Oh, no. He gets the legitimacy. Seems like not a lot of benefit for me. Oh no, I did. Okay, I got some legitimacy out of it. I can't stop laughing by equating the situation with today's world. Hamcuts was going through the the hood and wondering why he keeps getting robbed, even though he spent dollars on bodyguards. And I was like, just go through the suburbs. Oh, I see. Go through the suburbs with the white picket fence. Yeah, yeah. I spent the money on the bodyguards. Well, why don't you just go where there's not people trying to kill you? Guests for the coronation of my acquaintance, King Merchu, are pouring in, all giving minor oaths, thanks to their invitations and pledges of fealty or support. Soon it shall be my turn. Must I stand out from the crowd? Must I use my brief audience to convince the king of my worthiness? Let's see. I could gain legitimacy here. What's my legitimacy at? Yeah, I don't have a lot. So I need 420. I need to get to 420. To get to the next level. Yeah, let's do this. I was watching Young Sheldon recently, and that's probably more of a Vic 3 topic than CK3 topic, but I never fully understood what an anathema was in the US to be called a communist in the Cold War. I mean, it's just like there's a big stigma in the US about it to be called a communist because you know, we our country like was so vehemently against it, toppled governments over it. It is kind of like a it's still, I think, to this day holds a stigma. And like it's funny that people there's many I feel like there's many people in the US that don't know the difference between communist and socialist. And so in our country to be called a socialist is basically to be called a communist. And in our country it's bad to be a communist. So and it's so funny because I feel like it's still that way. Despite, you know, the Red Scare being so long ago. Even in schools, I mean, it's pretty much taught like communists are evil. Also, a byproduct of a lack of an answer for the problems they're addressing besides get another job. Yeah. Yeah. Like, Sheldon wanted better food quality, understood that the reason the quality downgrade was due to sketchy corporate policies, so he thought the best solution would be centralized planning. Yeah. Yeah, and I'm sure called a communist. I mean, are definitely the way we're taught about it, even to this day, kind of hints towards that. Dude. Oh no, what's up? People really don't know the difference. God, that is so frustrating. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. It is it's very frustrating. Um, and it's just like, I mean, it's one of the main reasons I think we don't have socialized medicine in the U.S. Universal health care. So people are like, oh, it's just a step towards communism, and I'm like, God, you have no idea what you're talking about. Um, the journalist trapped the boy, telling him, "So you want communism?" And Sheldon was like, "You could say that." And since then, his life and his family's life was over, and they had to act super patriotic because they would call them Kremlin spies. Apparently, we were all communists in the home. Like you would force a child to share with a sibling. Yeah. Well, here's what I find to be one of the funniest and most ridiculous examples of this ever. In 2008, when Obama was running his first campaign for president, and his opponent, uh, John McCain, his vice president, his running mate was Sarah Palin, and Sarah Palin would call Obama a communist and a socialist. Um, and what's funny about that is Sarah Palin had the most socialist policy ever created in the United States. So she was the governor of Alaska, and she allowed oil companies to come to Alaska and drill for oil, and in return they would have to pay the state of Alaska a certain amount of money, and she in turn took that money and evenly distributed it to every taxpayer in Alaska. So for a period of time, everybody in Alaska got their oil check. And I'm like, that is the most socialist policy other than public libraries I think we have in the United States. It's just the most, just like, ironic thing. Hi, King Shananel. King Merchant calls with a big smile. Next to him stands another guest, a Mortimer that I am not acquainted with. This is Mortimer Rogalic. King Merchu introduces him. I believe you two could find much common ground. The recent reduction of gold minted in the realm, perhaps. See, this is interesting. So this second coronation. I feel like we're getting the same events. Like, did they not like include many different events for these coronations? Remember when we could call Sarah Palin the equivalent of Hitler, and we thought that this was what the most extreme right that ever existed. Oh my God. I think about that too with like George W. Bush. Thinking like George W. Bush was the worst president the country ever had. And I'm like, just wait, buddy. Just wait. And yes, ironically, this is what Norway does, or Gaddafi did in Libya. Exactly, right? The industrialists' preferred laws in Vic 3 really speak to how ironically similar capitalists are to aristocrats. Just rebranding. Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's the thing is like, people don't understand in the US what people don't understand the socialist things that we have already, right? Like I remember during the debates for the Affordable Care Act, people would call it socialism, and it's not. It's the government paying subsidies to private health companies to bring down the cost of health premiums for everybody. Like that's not socialism. And yet, the one socialist medical care that the country offers for the elderly, Medicare, you would have these town halls with these senior citizens. There's this one funny clip where this guy goes, "Get your government hands off my Medicare," and it's like, dude, you have no idea Medicare is a government program. I apologized to Bush many times for calling him stupid before. Georgia, you are a genius compared to some other president. Yeah, no. Just because he's not the dumbest and the worst at this point, he's still awful. People had this moment after Trump's first presidency. They're like, "Oh man, we owe George W. Bush an apology for how we thought he was the worst." Like, he is still awful. He's an awful human being, and a war criminal. Um, he just doesn't happen to be the worst president anymore. Unfortunately. I liked Trump during his first presidency, but man, he's broken now. Yeah. I'll be honest, I did not like him during his first presidency either, but yeah, like you compare Trump's first term to the second term, like holy hell. There is a stark difference. It's really coming off the rails now. You should just say, people just don't understand. Yeah. Parents just don't understand. Um, I finally managed to leave the other guests behind and enter the. Yeah, again, it's missing something here. In search of a quiet moment, the altar to God shines dimly, illuminated by a dozen candles. A fragrant silence fills the cold walls. To my right, a mural of St. Matthew offers me a stern look. To the left, the tincture that once was Jesus is fading slowly, his smile almost imperceptible. So I did this, a prayer for the wealth, before. So why don't we do... Yeah, let's get some of that. I didn't say that. You misinterpreted my words. I said that in comparison, his intelligence now looks adequate. Oh, yeah, yeah. No, I know. No, I'm commenting specifically on there was this large sentiment after Trump was elected, separate from what you said, about George W. Bush and be like, oh man, we owe Bush an apology. So I'm saying, yeah, no, no, no. Like it just reminded me of that sentiment at that time, and I'm like, both of them are bad. Authoritarian Trump, yeah, yeah, he's going full on authoritarian. It's really insane. It's really scary, actually, to be honest. About I think what's scary is not just him attempting to do these things, but the lack of resistance against it. You know, like our whole government is built on this idea that no matter what somebody tries to do, there's going to be pushback from some side. And there's no pushback from any direction on anything. It's just, that's the scariest thing. I am ashamed, but I supported Trump until about the 2018 midterms. But in my excuse, I am a foreigner, and I really didn't like Clinton. I was more for Bernie. I was for RFK. No, he wasn't running in 2016, but he was running in the recent one. You know what I find funny too is like being like I grew up in New Jersey. Now I live in New York City, but the New York, New Jersey area, like he's very well known here. Trump came to prominence because of his mainly national prominence because of his TV show. He was kind of a cultural figure that people vaguely knew of. But his TV show got him national fame. But like here in this area, he's been known the whole time because he's a major real estate person, and he was always known here as a cheat and a crook because like he doesn't pay the people that he hires. So like growing up, you always had like a friend whose parent was a contractor who had been stiffed by Trump in some, in some job. So, you know, the contractors and the workers here in this area, have always known him as a crook. And so it's just so funny that like the whole country is catching up to it now, where if you listen to the people who lived around him here, you'd have been like, oh yeah, this is like, and his like Atlantic City like hotels and casinos are always known as like like gaudy and cheap. Like the Trump Taj Mahal always had that reputation in Atlantic City. I'm from England, so it doesn't matter who I'd have voted for. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, he and but that's the thing. Trump was always like, "Oh, that guy's cheap," you know. Um, so whatever. But we also had no idea. Like, yeah, he builds gaudy buildings and and doesn't pay his workers. We had no idea just how far down the rabbit hole that went. Yeah, the Trump Taj Mahal. What an awful thought. That was the name of his casino that went bankrupt in Atlantic City. He's pretty liked. Really, he was liked in the UK. Wow. How come? What was the reason for that? What was it they liked about him? Like England, England. Yeah, we don't get voting rights. I had to double check. Thought you meant New England. Oh, yeah, no, no. All right. King Merchu takes a second to observe the crowd, puffing his chest. The voices of the courtiers have become as constant as the chirping of birds, and I have no doubt that Duke Ara intends to join them. Good High King, he says, sliding up to me, may I be so bold as to ask what your thoughts are on the celebration? I have no doubt that King Merchu's rule will be one of love and justice. Yeah, let's do that one. Where did my Gorby comment go? Read all comments. What? Oh, I swear to God that wasn't there a second ago. I think that Donald is your Gorbachev, and to draw more parallels aside of doing nothing and acting like he fixes stuff and being weak on foreign policy, they both appeared in Pizza. They both appeared in Pizza Hut advertisements. Well played, well played. See, the thing was, like, in Trump's first term, yeah, he didn't do anything. In this one, he's doing a lot of stuff. He's not, and interestingly, in both terms, he's not passing any laws. He's using executive orders. He's used more executive orders than any president in history. Like, they're passing very few laws. It's nuts. Count all votes, yeah. He was bashed to hell, so... Oh, he was bashed, so he had the underdog status. I see, yeah. Another Victoria 3 metaphor. When we examine private schools as a concept, it makes sense how goofy American politics is. The electorate isn't well educated at all, which makes being rich a multiplier. Yeah. Yeah, I think that part of the problem is in the US, like, there's a federal education department, but education is very much like still handled on the state level, and every state can kind of do their own thing. So in terms of like the US education system, like there is vast differences from state to state. So there isn't like one, that's the problem. There isn't one American education system. There's the Department of Education at the federal level that like gives funds to the other ones, but pretty much every state does their own thing. And so some states have very good education systems, and then other ones don't. So you look at the state of Oklahoma in here in the U.S., and for them as an example, their entire education system in that state has collapsed. It's insane what's happening in Oklahoma. They have completely defunded schools in Oklahoma to the point where all the teachers have left. They were paid so little that they couldn't live in the state of Oklahoma anymore. They've all left. And so now they've spent years like desperately looking for teachers that they're now hiring people as teachers who just have a high school education. Like, you graduate high school and then a couple years later you're now the teacher at the high school. Like, it's insane. And so the whole system has collapsed. Whereas you have other states like here in New York, like it's you need like a lot in order to be a teacher. The media was so brutal against him, it turned the people to favor him. That's interesting. Do you think that would also help that, at least in his first term, it was during the whole period of Brexit, and Trump's policies also kind of align with the policies of Brexit? I wonder if that played into his favorability there as well. And also Boris Johnson, I feel like, at least in his first term, the two of them, their ideologies kind of coincided for a period there, and there was a moment where Boris Johnson was looked highly upon. So I wonder if that played in his favorability, Trump's favorability there, because the two of them are so politically aligned. The damage Gorbachev did, for example, was destroying the institutions of the Soviet Union. He probably meant good, but he didn't understand the significance of his damage. And then he lost to a Russian nationalist named Yeltsin, who turned Russia into a police state run by the oligarchs and the secret police. Similarly, Trump attacks the Congress, the media, the elections, the courts, even NATO and his allies. He's doing very deep institution damage. Yep. He is very much hurting all of the institutions. He's gutting every institution in this country. I have no idea what a post-Trump America will look like, regardless of what party wins the next election. What is crazy but true is that Americans fund their schools through local property taxes. I have no words, honestly. Yeah, it's true. Well, it's local property taxes, but also from the federal level. The federal Department of Education has, like, it distributes funds to all the state education institutions. But you're right, like, the states fund so the money that goes into a state education system comes from the federal government, but the rest of the money comes from states, and it's largely property. They take the money from property taxes. So there's actually two sources of income, but the largest one is local property taxes. Teachers with a high school education sounds like 1830s, post-revolutionary Greece. Yeah, that's Oklahoma right now. Figured out 2 of the 4 of your beliefs. Trying to figure out how to bait responses on the other. Wait, so what are the 2 that you figured out so far? He also has anti-immigration, which is a big topic here. Bro Brexit, another big pull for some. Yep, that's what I figured. The thing with Boris Johnson is that he's a complex individual. The guy can read ancient Greek and Latin. He is also upper class private school kid, but he appeals to the Northern English working class over Brexit. Being goofy, talking about migration, and generally his culture war going on in Anglo-Saxon countries, but he was very unpopular and corrupt. He was booted off. Yeah. Don't undervalue how powerful a tool being funny can be for your popularity. This, yes, is so true. We especially saw that with Boris Johnson, and I think you see that with Trump as well. When he says just blatantly stupid things, people seem to love him more. Hold on, let me read this real quick through this event so this guy can stop waving at us. All preparations are complete. The great ceremonial assembly now awaits St. Johnston's High Church. To cheers and exultation, King Merchu's procession parts the crowd, and my retinue follows in our honorary place. Peasants team forth for a glimpse of the soon-to-be king. Atop their parents' shoulders, amidst the multitude, Gaelic children grin. We are also going to ignore that Bojo, I've never heard it referred to that way. I love it. Bojo took power in an era that Labour had its worst results since before the World Wars, and left the Tory party with the worst results since 1836. That's interesting. Yeah, see, I don't know the intricate details of the parties over there, like how much they're favored or things like that. That's interesting. I tend to think it's more private for the massive disconnect between what we say are public schools but are failing. It matches wealth-based literacy. Yeah, and you mean that in reference to England, right? Because I know in England, like, here in the U.S., public schools are schools funded by the government. Private schools are ones that, like, are private. But it's true, right? In England, private schools are the ones that are open to everybody, funded by the government. And public schools are the ones that, like, you pay for and generally rich people go to. Right? I have that right. I always thought that was the case. There is a huge gap between private and public schools in the U.S. You are correct. I would love to attend an Ivy League school, but I didn't have 60K here. Not even 60K in total. Man, I'll tell you this. So for college, I went to a small state college for undergrad, and then for graduate school, I went to Columbia University. Um, and Columbia was great. I wouldn't say the education was that much better than my state school, but at Columbia, I was taught by top class people in my industry, people with famous names, right? So I got access to some really important people. But just because you're famous and successful in your industry doesn't make you a good educator. So, in terms of the actual education, I would say I don't think private education, especially in the college level, um, means that it's a better education per se. Can you give me a TLDR version of what you said about my Gorby and Donnie connection? I lost it over the bloody advertisements. I hope their companies all go insolvent. Uh, um, no, I think it's an apropos connection, because yeah, just like Gorbachev, Trump is absolutely dismantling every single government institution we have. Like every single institution except the military. The military is intact. But everything else, from the big to the small, is just being decimated. And I really, honestly don't know what a post-Trump government will look like, regardless of what party wins the next election. Like, the institutions are so heavily damaged. Before Keir Starmer, there had only ever been 3 Labour MPs that won an election since the 1800s. Really? Nearly always conservative governments. Wow, interesting. That I did not know. I would not have guessed that. You attended Columbia. That's freakish. How did you make it? Yeah, barely. I'm still paying it off. I am going to. I mean, and I'm not exaggerating. I think I'm going to die with my debt for attending Columbia. I'm never going to be able to pay that off. Uh, did it? Was it beneficial? I debate that to myself every day. I mean, the U.S. it's nuanced. Since there's public funding, not enough in many states. It's almost like a hybrid, but education version of poor laws. Yeah, partially public, but dominantly private in intent. Yeah, and now they're even trying to blur that line even more with this new thing called charter schools in the US, where basically charter schools are private schools. You have to apply to them and hope you get accepted. And then when you get in, you have to pay for it, just like you would a private school. But they also get government funding and government like infrastructure. So these charter schools will come and take like building space away from public schools, and then take money from the state education system to fund their school, and at the same time not accept everybody in the community into the school. Like I have no idea how it's legal. It's basically a taxpayer funded private school, and they have no standards. Because they're a private school, they don't fall under the jurisdiction of public education standards. So some of the schools are good, and some of the schools are atrocious. Atrocious. Hold on, let me read this real quick. Let's get past this. Until the bishops, the Alban nobility, and the common people have all acted their customary part, Mirchu is no true king. His rule cannot be just without their acceptance of it. First, the priests. Theirs is a call for the king to honor their holy rights and to defend the faithful. Mirchu's assents. Then the elders of St. Johnston rasp their symbolic recognition, and the king promises paternal love to the low people. Mirchu's vassals step forth to supplicate themselves. Most glow with hope and truthfully swear their loyalty and love. The ceremony continues on and on. I think it's 3 labor general election winners in 120 years. That's insane. Really? I did not realize there was such a difference in the parties in that way. No, they won in the interwar. They won with Attlee. They won with Wilson, and then again big time with Tony Blair. Tony Blair was the Conservative Party, though, wasn't he? Obviously, 4 now with Keir Stalin. Yeah, I thought Tony Blair was the Conservative Party. Speaker Ant-Man. Hey, hello, hello. What's up, Hamcuts? Just tuned in for a minute, but you are one down-to-earth Ivy League dude. Thank you. Thank you. That's the thing, is that, man, when I was at Columbia... So that's the thing, like, I came from a very small state school. My undergraduate education was not expensive at all. And I got to Columbia, and I was, like, sitting there with, like, people who had gone to these very fancy schools. Like, I remember there was this one woman, she was in our program, but in a different emphasis. And she said she was from India. And she said, oh, I'm having a tough time, like, settling in with, like, my apartment and everything. Like, I'm not used to doing my laundry and, like, having to, like, clean the apartment. And I remember it was me and one other friend. We looked at her. We were like, what are you talking about? Like, what did you do before? And she said to us, she looked at us. She's like, well, the servants did it. And I was like, servants? I was like, man, I am with a different class of people here. So I think the biggest thing I learned from Columbia, and I truly mean this in kind of a positive way, I learned how to spot people's bullshit. You know, like I study theater. I went for playwriting. And so I would get feedback on my work. I think the biggest thing I learned is how to listen to feedback from people and be able to sift through it and be like, that's useful, that's useful, that's BS, that's useful. Because you hear a lot of BS, but there's also a lot of really good tidbits of information. I think that's the biggest thing I learned from it. You offend Stalin by even involving his name. He is incorrect. It's 3 now for that actually won a general... Oh, it's 3 now for that actually won a general election. And agreed about Trump dismantling institutions. The damage is awful. And I work for the Department of... Oh my god. I am so sorry, Speaker Ant-Man. Man. Yeah, I can only imagine what a tumultuous time it might be to go to work every day there. Ugh. Even changing the name of the place you work at, like, that's just nuts. Unless he meant prime ministers, not elections. Yes, individuals that won from labor. Then you are correct, but wasn't there another guy in the interwar, someone McDonald or something like that, with a big mustache and messy hair, like Polish Einstein? Yeah, that makes it transitory. U.S. on track to be totally privatized. Yeah, I mean, that in education, yeah, that is what the right wing of in the U.S. want. Totally privatized education. And they've actually been trying to do this for decades and decades. So it's like all the benefits of a public school, but none of the... Yeah, back to charter schools. Yeah, exactly. All the benefits of a public school, but none of the responsibilities, none of the standards, and none of the, like helping of the community. Yeah, I actually think a just chatting stream would be good now. That's kind of what it's turned into, right? Especially since we kind of know what the rest of this is going to be. The final sacral moment draws near, but first, The anointing, the mark of King Merchu's mandate from God. Fernan himself bears the holy oil. Fernan, the shepherd of Alba, marks Merchu with the sacred golden oil on his hands, his head, his breast, his shoulders, and the bends of his arms, a blessing for prophets, priests, and monarchs. The king's skin shine, the very approval of God. The cycle of sway is quite consistent too over the years. Seems we are very predictable. I've told you fools, these lads are intelligent and all. All of them make good points. Indeed. Do you remember who I was talking about? Blair was Labour. Oh, was he? Okay, interesting. I didn't know that. Or at least I don't remember that. Maybe it's just because he supported George W. Bush. I was like, oh, he's conservative. I didn't realize he was the Labour Party. It's been some time. Tony Blair was Labour, but he was centrist, more like Bill Clinton, basically. Ah, okay, I get it. Yeah. No, mate, not really that great with people's names, though. Let me do Google search then. I was correct. Ramsay MacDonald, the guy with the mustache that looks like Polish Einstein. Or Posh Einstein. Posh Einstein. So that makes a 5 with Kier. A girl I knew was born in South Africa, white, and she had black servants and a black nanny on a farm. She says they weren't slaves, but yeah. Jesus. Oh, I'm sure they weren't. The Boer are insufferable. Remember the Spitting Image song about the South Africans? I don't know that. It does say he held a minority government. I'll have to find the list. Yes, basically he won the election, but most of his party walked, so he created a coalition with the Tories. Oh, maybe that's why I thought that way about him. And Lib Dems, and called it the National Labour. But he did win as a Labour, so that's 5. But still, the UK is historically a very conservative country, and it's rare the Tories aren't in government. I hope they don't get power again, though. Forth come the royal symbols. The glittering longsword is girded to Merchu's hip. The scepter of sovereign authority taken up in his hand. His fingers wrap around the globus, cruciger. To his body come the armils and the pallium. The prayers rumble on. Graced by royal treasures, Merchu kneels just this one final time for the King of Alba, the king he is about to truly become. He bows only to God. I never met a nice South African, sang by Spitting Image. Just listen to that. Elmo is the proof that they were correct. You know what's funny? When I was growing up, I always had the same conversation with people when I was younger, and they would find out my name because it's an Arabic name, but it's a name in the United States more associated with like African American culture, and so people would always ask like, "Oh, what kind of name is that?" Or where are you where are you from? And I would, for a while, I would say Algeria, and people didn't know. People had never heard of Algeria. They would think, "Oh, you're from Nigeria." I'm like, no, Algeria. So eventually, I just started saying I'm from Africa. And so this is when I was younger and I was a kid. I didn't know yet that there was a country named South Africa. So I would say I'm from Africa, and they would look at me and they go, "Oh, you're South African?" And I wouldn't understand why they would always think like, "Why does everybody think I'm from Southern Africa?" And so I would look at them, and I would be like, "No, Northern Africa." And then they'd look at me like I was an idiot. And then it wasn't until I got older and I started to like learn about the world a little bit more, and I finally was like, "Oh, they thought I was oh my god." So yeah, I would always be like, "Why does everybody think I'm from Southern Africa? I don't get it." I disagree. You see that from the Glorious Revolution onward, you were a Whig country until the French Revolution. If you want to see real dominance, check that out. 110 plus years. They're basically the landowners. Actually, no, landowners is quite harsh. Yeah. Then after the Napoleonic Wars were over, the people stopped freaking about revolution and war. The Tories lost again, and after the suffrage reforms, the Liberals became popular again. Well, Africa equals black, you look white, so they connected the dots. Yeah, yeah, that's what I mean, yeah. But I didn't realize that when I was a kid, and then I got a little bit older, and I was like, oh, that's what's going on here. No, 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 no. Then I went back to just being like, I'm Algerian. That is from Northern Africa. All right, the formalities have ended, and with them the stillness that held the gathering in place. A few murmurs rise as the host stands again, this time to mark the end of ceremony and the start of something more relaxed. They raise their voice just enough to carry, my friends, the rites are complete. Let the tables be filled, let the cups be raised, and let this hall remember joy as well as duty. The words are well received, and for the first time all day, the gathering starts to feel like a celebration. Was your father of the same complexion? My dad has a little bit more tan skin than I do, though. Like I'll say, my dad is recognized as Arab. Like if you meet him on the street, people will recognize him as somebody who's Arab, whereas me, most people don't recognize me as Arab, except other Arabs. It's so funny. Everybody like will always be like, "Oh, you don't look Arab," but the only people who don't say that to me are other Arabs. They're always like, "Oh yeah, yeah, you do look Arab." Your Highness, starts Ligach, commoner from Alba, a distinct odor following her to my table. You must meet this most interesting man. He has brought delightful and exotic Saracen cakes back from his adventures on Crusade. Yeah, oh yeah, I don't want to pay 85 though. I was gonna say, let's get the secret stash. Once again, let's get high at this party. I hate that too. Everyone recognizes me mostly. You mean like they do recognize you as Greek, or they don't? Whoa! What does it feel like being an Arab person in the USA? Yeah, it can be. I mean, it can be difficult. It is difficult, although it is also a different situation because, like, most rooms I walk into where nobody knows me, I get recognized as white. And so I don't face as much of the backlash as other people who are visually recognized as Arab do. However, I do remember, like, well, you know, it's very fitting on this day right now since it's September 11th. I remember like in the days after September 11th, I would find myself in situations where, like, I'd be in a room with people, and very literally people be like, you know, not saying this exactly, but being like, okay, now that there's no Arabs or Muslims around us, let's talk trash about them. And here I am sitting there like now I gotta have this fight in this moment. So I got a lot of that, especially during that time. But yeah, it is a very difficult moment to be Arab or to be Muslim in the United States. It does not feel welcome, I'll say that. But, you know, I live in New York, so much different place than other places in the country. I'm never leaving New York, I can tell you that. Much better since 2001. That's what I can imagine. Yeah. I mean, before 2001, it was almost like nobody cared at all. And the day after that, I had no idea. Somehow, silly moment. Yeah, yeah. Most people don't recognize me as that. What's interesting is that the Republicans in the U.S. actually want an industrialist intelligentsia type of society. They pretend to be petite bourgeoisie for votes. Yeah, Democrats are like low clout unions now. Yeah, but see so the problem is that's generally how the parties culturally have split. But ever since Ronald Reagan, the entire political spectrum has moved so far right that now, I mean, I think that's why the Republican Party, which is supposed to be the right wing party, has moved to the extreme right. Now the Democratic Party, which is supposed to be the liberal party, is really now just a centrist party, and that's why now you get like when you say things like "I think healthcare should be free," people are like, "Oh my God, you're far left wing." Like nowhere else in the world is that considered a far left wing stance, you know. Um, I wouldn't say Arab, maybe Balkans. Oh, are you saying what you think I resemble, like more Balkans? The locals, yeah, they do. Oh, interesting. Okay. Jesus, I'm sorry about that, man. Yeah, that's it's okay. It's just the way of life. The U.S. is definitely more racist than the U.K. I'm white, working class, where you would expect racism to be more present. It isn't really. People are anti-immigration, though, which a lot get confused with racism. Well, I think a lot of anti-immigration is tied up, at least somewhat, in racism. Because in the U.S., like you said, we're more racist here, but we're also anti-immigration, so we have both of that. No, us Europeans are not inherently racist. If you want more info, read what Frederick Douglass wrote about his visits to the British Isles. For example, you can even read a TLDR in Wikipedia. What do you mean by inherently racist? I mean, there's a lot of racism in Europe. There's a lot of racism in the United States. There's a lot of racism in Europe, too. There's a lot of racism everywhere. I'm not sure if you practice Islam or not, but Islamophobia or just the hate for Arabs is something I've begun waking up to in our country. It's really disgusting how it's just from top to bottom. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not a practicing Muslim, though. I grew up in a Muslim home. So my dad is Muslim, my mom is Catholic, and so we grew up with both religions growing up. Um, and so I culturally I kind of identify with Islam, but I have my own things with religion. I don't follow a religion specifically, but I'm very much in tune with Islamophobia sentiments in the country, and there's a lot of it. I think the biggest problem with Islamophobia in the U.S. is that people don't recognize it exists. Um, there, there was a comedian, a Pakistani Muslim comedian, um, Hassan Minaj, who did this. I forget how many years ago this was now. It wasn't that long ago, but it's been a couple of years. Did a whole stand-up special where he talked about Islamophobia that he's faced in his life. And there was this like article in the New Yorker that basically accused him of exaggerating it. And it was a scandal for him. People were like, "Yeah, you're exaggerating it." Like as if like Islamophobia doesn't exist. Like it's nuts. Uh Extreme today has a lesser meaning. People call others Nazis for such petty reasons. This is true. And I said this too back in the George W. Bush days. I absolutely hate George W. Bush. But even back then in like the 2000s when people were equating him to Hitler, I was like, let's slow down there because like when we really need to equate someone to Hitler, we're gonna I literally said this back then, like we're gonna have watered it down, and this isn't quite Hitler. You can hate the man without him being Hitler. And now in our country we have like a secret police going around rounding people up, putting them in vans, and you never see them again. And it's like, yeah, now everybody's like, oh, you think everything is Nazism. And now we actually do have it going on. We have the beginnings of it here. But people have been using the term, like calling things Nazis, for so long that it's just become watered down, I fear. I cannot believe how people from those areas are represented by the media here sometimes. Well, unfortunately, I can't believe it, but you know what I mean? Yeah, yeah. Or I can believe it, yeah. No, I know exactly, yeah. I know exactly what I mean. I feel the same way. No, the Europeans do not care about your race, even in the 19th century. Read Douglas, please. Racism exists everywhere, but is not seen in European societies, especially in comparison to new states. America, Brazil, Jamaica, Haiti, etc. built their societies on racial inequality. That's not the case in Europe. There was never slavery on our soil. No inequality amongst races. Xenophobia, sure though. Sure, there was no racism at home. But they certainly were promoting racism in all their friends' houses. Let's be serious here. It's nice you recognize the privilege afforded to you by being white passing. Good on you. Yeah, thank you, yeah. I know what you're talking about, my goodness. Yeah. No, absolutely. I mean, I fully recognize, like, I'm also white, and I get white privilege where I go in life, but I am still Arab. I mean, that's the thing, is that, like, people don't get to deny the fact that I'm Arab just because they don't know what Arabs look like, you know? There are 6 or 7 Arabs serving life sentences for trying to murder Nigel Farage. On that, you can read Orwell's take on calling people Nazis. Oh, interesting. I will quote Douglas. There's an oddly freedom but aspect to the Republicans. It's like they want armed forces but still want intelligentsia ideals. Yeah, the thing I don't get is this is kind of where our political system is kind of falling apart. Is that historically, when you look, the United States political spectrum has always fallen over the question of states' rights versus federal rights. From the very beginning, that has been the split of our political spectrum. Even back when it was like Republican Party and the Whig Party and stuff like that. And the parties have changed ideologies over the time, but they've always just kind of exchanged, like, we are the party for more states' rights, we are the party for more rights to the federal government. And the problem is we are in a moment now where that line is being blurred. There's like the current Republican Party is supposed to be the party for state rights, and the Democratic Party is supposed to be the party for federal rights. And there's now many instances where the Republican Party are trying to mandate certain things to states and give other things to states. And in response, the Democratic Party, or at least Democratic states, like here in New York, are like trying to enshrine certain things in state law so that at least here it's legal, as the federal government bars things. And so it's almost like now everybody is like for states' rights and federal rights depending on the issue. And I think that's partly why our political spectrum is starting to crumble, because it wasn't made for that. David, yeah, white privilege. Oh no, LOL. I guess I just by the reference to white privilege, I guess I just mean like when I walk into a room, somebody who has an issue with Arabs or Muslims, like because I look white, I'm not going to get the brunt of that, right? I'm just not. And so I recognize the fact that, I mean, that is a privilege that I don't have to deal with it on that level, right? Because of the color of my skin. Um, and that is an undeniable fact. Like, there's a lot of that I don't face because of how I'm perceived. It doesn't change the fact that I am Arab, though. Hold on. Let's get through this coronation here. There is nothing like a feast. It reminds me of what is good in life, and the company is not too bad either. At least those seated close to me seem to think so. You are something special, Shananel. Ferdinand tells me. Bjorn and Duke are nod their heads in agreement. 11 days and a half gone, and I've crossed 3,000 miles of the perilous deep. Instead of a democratic government, I am under a monarchical government. Instead of the bright blue sky of America, I am covered with the soft gray fog of the Emerald Isle. I breathe, and lo, the chattel slave becomes a man. Gaze around in vain for one who will question my equal humanity, claim me as his slave, or offer me an insult. I employ a cab. I am seated beside white people. I reach the hotel. I enter the same door. I am shown into... hold on, I just moved up. I employ a cab. I am seated beside white people. I reach the hotel. I enter the same door. I am shown into the same parlor. I dine at the same table, and no one is offended. I find myself regarded and treated at every turn with a kindness and deference paid to white people. When I go to church, I am met by no upturned nose and scornful lip to tell me we don't allow you in here. Tell me your thoughts. Well, first of all, whenever it comes to the thing of racism, though, like, white and black aren't the only races, right? Like, so I assume he's writing about his experiences in England. So racism exists everywhere. What what is the what is the paper written by an Indian in England about? What is the paper written by an Arab or Muslim in France written about, right? So like um I I generally am wary of anybody who's like racism doesn't exist here. It exists everywhere. Like literally everywhere. It's just not it's something that you can't escape. I don't think there is I guess this is the thing that we're facing right now in the United States. Like, you can accept the premise that racism exists in your home without thinking poorly about your home because you're recognizing the problem and you're saying this problem needs to be solved. You're not saying, "Oh, f this place, I hate this place," um, but you still should recognize the the faults and the evils that exist there. So to say that like Europe as a whole is not inherently racist, I mean, like racism heavily exists there as it exists everywhere. I wouldn't say Europe is more racist than anywhere else. That is true. I wouldn't say that, but it exists there. Um, yeah, that's a tension that's indicating a shift among Republicans that may be pointing to a petite bourgeoisie armed forces future. There's a deep-seated rage among them. Yeah, this is heavily true. I totally agree with that. It just seems a stupid word, white privilege. Um, I've been racial abused quite regularly in London as a white Englishman. Well, um, I think maybe there are these terms that are used to describe cultural problems that aren't that like the terms start to exist and aren't defined, right? Like what just happened now. Like I say, like yeah, I do benefit from white privilege, but then I tell you exactly what that means. Like the privilege that I am afforded is that as an Arab, I don't suffer the same thing that my fellow Arabs suffer because of the color of my skin, right? And I think that might be part of the problem, is that there hasn't been enough cultural or societal discourse to define what many of these things mean, right? So yeah, I think there are a lot of people who see that term white privilege and they think like, oh, here we go again, because the term has been used, but there's been nothing to define what it means. And so how do you have a discourse when a term is never fully defined and discussed, right? So I think that's probably part of the problem with terms like that, you know. Yes, that was Frederick Douglass in the 19th century. I never said it doesn't exist, just that it's almost non-existent compared to the U.S. back then. You can also read Gandhi. He studied in England, but if okay, yeah, it doesn't. Well, it doesn't exist, and almost non-existent are very, very, very close. Like, doesn't exist and almost non-existent are almost the same phrase. I'm waiting for you to say something ignorant, and you just keep winning. I think that. Oh, yeah. Well, thank you. I appreciate it, because sometimes I worry I'm rambling. And he didn't face, institutionally at least, racism there. But once he went back home to South Africa, he was thrown out of a train wagon. So Europe is the least racist continent confirmed. Um, well, I don't know if I'd say confirmed. um, Europe is a very big place. Europe isn't just England. I would say France is a pretty racist country. I'd say there's a lot of racism in Italy. Um, there's racism in many places in Europe. Europe is a very large place. It's a continent. Oh yeah, haven't blocked you. Oh yeah, must have missed your comment though. Oh, I do watch F1 quite a lot. My brother loves F1. He's really trying to get me into it. um, it hasn't happened yet. I don't dislike it, but I wouldn't say I've gotten into it yet. But he's trying. What started as an ordinary feast became an exceptional one thanks to the presence of King Merchu. We spoke all evening about all manner of subjects, and as things would have it, we seem to have a lot in common. I had such a good time with him. Um, what's dangerous about that shift with Republicans is they appear to be more willing than ever to compromise on constitutional law to achieve their goals. Executive orders with Trump are getting no backlash. See, that's exactly. That's the thing that's scary, is like they are giving no pushback to him at all. And historically, a president's own party pushes back on him like all the time. Like, generally a party supports their president. This is true. But there are many times there are people within a party that push back on things the president does, usually because like they're trying to get something for their state maybe, but like there just seems to be no pushback from him. But I think even worse is that the Democratic Party, which is supposed to be the opposition party, is also offering no pushback. And so there's no force in government right now giving any type of pushback, and that is a dangerous combination. Hamcut's almost non-existent in comparison. That's what it is. And wait, are you talking about like, you mean like in the 19th century specifically, or you mean like, and right now? Ferrari man. But if a country aims for 0% by definition, it must become a tyranny, right? Um, you mean if a country aims for 0%, like racism, by definition, it must become a tyranny? Why are you stuck up with France? I know there's no racism in Italy. Even the far right wing has no issue with races. I saw Meloni stuck up praising a black Italian for being more Italian than Italians. I mean, dude, there's there's still instances of people at football matches throwing bananas at black players. Like, come on. Yeah. And are you stuck up with France? Well, I mean, for some obvious reasons. They murdered my ancestors. Even the Italian fascists sung about making Ethiopians into Italians in songs like Facetta Nera. Oh, my man, come on. To say that there is like there is plenty of racism in Europe. Now, I don't think that's saying like, oh, like Europe is awful, but like it exists, and I think the first step is we have to like at least recognize something exists. Like same thing going back to Islamophobia. Like you have to recognize something exists before we can tackle an issue. Overquoting Cicero, you really need to be in touch with Europeans. We're the most chill people you'll meet and very welcoming. First of all, when we're talking about Europeans, like Europe is massive with multiple different cultures. Like, is there really a defining a uniting thing of Europe? Like Europe itself doesn't seem united. It's many different cultures and countries. So even when we're talking about Europeans, like who are we talking about specifically? Europe is massive, both in land and people. I just imagine your king being asked to finally go ahead with his coronation, but he can't because he has to settle the discussion about politics centuries in the future with the voice in his head. Oh my god, yeah. That's what he's like. Sorry, hold on. Not yet. Wait. Nope, not yet. Oh, wait. Nope, not yet. Unconcerned with any etiquette, my friend King Murchu slaps me on the back. I mean it, he exclaims. I'll do anything you ask of me. Anything at all. Ask me and it's done. I can smell the alcohol on Murchu's breath, but the promise has been noted by every guest present. Hey, we get a weak hook. I'll take that. Of course, since a kid, I like the color red. I like Italy. I like horses. Italy is an awesome country to visit. You'll never want to leave. I totally agree with that. I did visit Italy when I was a teenager. I loved it. We visited multiple cities. It's a beautiful country. I'm dying from laughter. Yeah. Been there like 3 times. Mate, the Turks murdered my ancestors for a much bigger time, and I don't have hatred towards them. Look how friendly I am with Turks in the chat. We are humans and not responsible for our ancestors. No, I don't hate the French. I mean, don't get me wrong. There are French people in the chat that come to the chat as well. But that's the thing. I don't think I'm hating on the French for recognizing history. And I think it's like you say, like, oh, why am I like so obsessed with the French? When you talk about Europeans, you talk about something that exists in Europe. I mean, France is a large driving force in Europe. You know, it's not like I chose some small, like, indirect French or European country. So, like, I'm just bringing up history and current events. I mean, there is a lot of Islamophobia there as well, as there is in many parts of Europe. I think a truly racist person is 1 in 1,000 in Europe. Yeah. I mean, I think racism is a spectrum. You know, I mean, I think that's part of the problem with recognizing racism is like, I think there are people who are like, this person is racist, this person isn't racist. I think like racism is just under the umbrella of hatred, and I think that is a spectrum. There isn't like a moment where you're like, okay, you're not racist, and then suddenly, oh, now you are, right? Like there's a spectrum to it. So, like, I think it depends on who and what you're talking about. I think it may be because Republicans are angry about how they perceive. They try to get along, and it was never enough. That seedbed for identitarian politics. Nick Fuentes as example. Tried to get along, and it was never enough. Maybe. Maybe. I mean, I think a lot of the I think a lot of the political differences in the United States are stemming from cultural differences and not political differences. Like we're not really at odds with each other over the ideas of like um you know, like what should the articles of NATO be about? You know, like it's all like social issues. But we all share the same moral foundations in Europe, all of us. I guess like what would be an example of that? Let's not discuss what unites Europe. I'll open this discussion to another stream. But last thing, you'll never meet least racist people than Europeans. Trust me, unlike Japan or China, for example. I guess I'm just generally very hesitant about anybody who's like, I'm the least racist person. Right? Like, there's always something that rings a little false about that, right? Like, when someone is saying, I'm the least racist, like, what does that mean exactly? Because it is like you're recognizing there is a level of racism, but it's less than that person. So, like, how are we scaling this how are we scaling this? The feast is dwindling down. I find myself deep in conversation with my wholesome acquaintance Arthur. He inquires about my opinion on friendship, a subject he is deeply interested in himself. Yeah, I don't know who you are, but sure, we could be friends. Yeah, we don't need a rivalry. Europe doesn't definitive definition and often goes along cultural or political definitions. Some see it as where the Roman emperor went, others that is just Western Asia or a big PR team. Christian past, democratic governance, belief in human rights. There's a difference between not wanting X group people to share a seat in the bus with you and hating their existence. Wait, there's a difference between not wanting X group of people to share a seat in the bus with you and hating their existence, even if both are discriminatory views. So it kind of can be like a spectrum. Yeah, exactly. I think it's a spectrum. Europeans all share the same moral foundations and belief in human rights. All countries and the majority of the people in all countries. Didn't Trump say he is the least racist person? Okay, but yeah, exactly, yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking of. Okay, but what I am trying to do is challenge some wrong views and equating American whites with European whites. That made me chuckle though. See, I think though, at least to me, it doesn't seem like there is a uniting factor in Europe in terms of like identity. Like, do people in like Hungary see themselves like culturally like grouped with the English? Like it does, like stuff like that, like it doesn't seem like that. Like I think there are many like corners of Europe where they're like, no, we are distinctly different from that group of people in Europe. So in terms of like a common ancestry, Um, like, are people in like Lithuania saying that they have like a common background to people in Ireland? Like, it doesn't seem that way. Protestant, Catholic, Orthodox, all forms of Christianity, which salaries the same foundations of moral code, reverence of the Roman Empire. Yeah, but I guess what I'm saying is, it doesn't seem like all of the different places in Europe all feel connected to each other. Like they are saying we have some type of connection. Yes, because the people in Lithuania now live in Ireland. Okay. Maybe I chose a wrong example. I thought I was just choosing two random places. As a European federalist, I am strongly offended by your opinions. We are one nation, in my view, and if we are not, we shall become one. The United States of Europe is our future, and you shall envy. I mean, that would be great. But see, that's my question, though: is that's what you want? But is that what everybody else sees themselves as? It's different to be like, this is my hope and my dream for a united federalist, a European federalist union. But is that what everybody truly believes and wants right now? If they did, I think there would be a United States of Europe. Don't forget, human rights and democracy, they are not that popular abroad. Uh, yep, entangled in history of war and alliances. I mean, what was like Brexit itself was rooted in some level of racism. Like, you just don't want immigrants. Anti-immigration sentiment is has some roots in racism, to some degree. I've worked tirelessly to promote the glory, to foster the grandness of my coronation. The guests are flushed with the inspiration of what they have witnessed here, radiating admiration. It was a fitting start to my reign as High King. Oh, we've we finally finished this Scottish coronation. Finished the coronation. I think it's a lot sooner to see an American authoritarian state than an EU federal state. Unfortunately, I agree with that. An American authoritarian state is not that far off. You playing Paradox games, they all have a unify X region mechanic. Yeah, never think all the people you unify maybe don't like this new identity. Even the game often gives you cores. Yes, very true, very true. You, plural, became American over the Hessian mercenaries causing a ruckus. We shall become European over Chechen mercenaries causing a ruckus. Putin, Trump, and Brexit really helped us be more united. Viva la revolution, right? Maybe. Oh man, my friends. I think we've reached a stopping point. Believe it, amigo, most Europeans actually like this idea. Check for statistics online. We are not all like you South Americans who balkanized your continent over after independence. Yeah. This is a great conversation. I really enjoyed this stream, I have to say. I love this. Darn. Yeah. Yeah, it's a little late for me, and I got a very early morning. Um, Actually went longer than I intended to, but we're having such a good chat. I mean that sincerely. This was awesome. Pretty interesting, and glad we keeping it civil. Yeah, exactly. If only there could be more discourse like this. At least here in the United States, it doesn't seem like there can be. I think the language is the barrier in the EU, although I guess you could say that's changing a lot. Yeah, that's true. The multitude of languages and everything. Um, but here in the United States, we have the vast majority of people speaking one language, and Doesn't seem to be uniting us very much. Oh man, my friends. Yeah, this was awesome. Thank you. It did kind of turn into a just chatting stream there for a little bit. I support compulsory teachings of Esperanto for all Europeans. Within a generation, we will all speak Esperanto and drop the English to stop the Anglosphere of being smug for being smug. Yeah, you drop the English. That's when you lose the English. No, this is the part where I insult your mom and you imply I have no friends. And then we both think we won the argument. And then I flip the desk over and the stream literally just tumbles out the window. Alright, guys. I think we're going to end it here. But we can continue this. Yeah, see you in tomorrow's stream. Exactly. We have one more stream of the week tomorrow night where we're going to be doing continuing the Age of Wonders stream, episode 2 of that one. So let's go there. Let's all hang out there and pick this chat up because this was fun. Yeah, thank you everybody. So that'll be when I'm on again. Other than that, have a good night, everybody. As always, be awesome. I was gonna try to make a joke there, but see, it's so late. I don't have enough brain cells left to even formulate a joke there. Remember to tune in for the Eurobasket segment. That's where we can unite on right there. Go Greece. See you next time for more talks with Crusader Kings in the background. Yeah, more just chatting with occasional coronations in the background. All right. Good night, everybody.